Chapter 2. The show begins. There are many magicians, but let me introduce you to one of the best. His name is Richard Dawkins. His worldview leans strongly toward materialism, and he has sparkling Oxford credentials, which helps his audience to trust him. But let us disregard his high seat for a moment and look closely at one of his quotes. An atheist, in this sense a philosophical naturalist, is somebody who believes there is nothing beyond the natural physical world, no supernatural creative intelligence lurking behind the observable universe, no spirit that outlasts the body, and no miracles, except in the sense of natural phenomena that we don't yet understand. Looking at this quote, we should ask, does he prove as a fact that the immaterial does not exist? No. And he cannot. By definition, science limits itself to the material. It has no instruments to even measure the immaterial. So science and Dawkins can neither prove nor disprove that the immaterial does not exist. But yet, Dawkins still tries to make the immaterial disappear as if it were a settled fact. Also, notice that he says the word belief. Why not use the word faith? Because he and the other materialists will never apply the word faith to themselves, because they consider faith to be something delusional and without evidence. Faith is a state of mind that leads people to believe something, it doesn't matter what, in the total absence of supporting evidence. How can he speak with such confidence? Because what someone accepts as fact depends on what they believe reality is. And language will always bend to serve someone's belief of reality. So materialists bend words to fit better within their belief. This is how Dawkins can speak with such confidence. Whether intentional or not, this reframing of words has been very advantageous for them. And their ongoing success is proof that if you can redefine words, then you can gain control over how people think. Here are a few other quotes showing how materialists have redefined the word faith. Faith is not a reliable path to truth. Faith is the surrender of the mind. It is the surrender of reason. It is the surrender of the only thing that makes us different from other animals. Faith is the great cop-out, the great excuse to evade the need to think and evaluate evidence. The original meaning of faith. In Roman culture, faith, fides, was the ground upon which law and morality stood. Faith established the reliability that made justice, commerce, and community possible. To have faith in something rested on both material and immaterial evidence. Faith was so important that Rome deified Fides as a goddess, protector of oaths and treaties. In Greek culture, faith also included both material and immaterial evidence. In the courts, faith literally meant proof. It was the visible evidence of trustworthiness grounded in both action and reason. So faith was never defined as an unreliable path to truth. The materialists changed the meaning of the word. The hat and rabbits. While the audience applauded at the magician's beautiful hat, they missed noticing that he had redefined the word faith. They had given him their trust, and now he declares faith to be delusional. And they nod in agreement, unaware of the sleight of hand trick that was performed. But let us keep watching this magic show by looking again at Dawkins' quote. Faith is a state of mind that leads people to believe something, it doesn't matter what, in the total absence of supporting evidence. Since he is trying to make the immaterial disappear, he must use rhetorical rabbits. Allow me to catch these rabbits and show them to you. Rabbits of false divide. Because of the redefinition of faith, there are two rabbits. One is called false contrast, and the other is called false dichotomy. False contrast jumps up out of the magic hat and then hops to center stage, where its head splits apart, one side being rational and the other side being delusional. Then false dichotomy jumps out and hops over to it and says to the audience, you either trust what can be measured or you will be considered delusional. Ta-da! These two rhetorical tricks have now unleashed the power of mockery. Mocking is a sharp manipulation tool which is specifically used to influence the way people think. Most people will ignore their critical thinking, so the ridicule against them will stop. Rabbit called circular reasoning. This clever rabbit jumps out and hops around in a tight circle, causing everyone to dizzily agree that faith is delusional, because only the material exists. Therefore, only the material exists. This shows how materialism controls what evidence is considered acceptable. Only the material. This guarantees them in advance that the immaterial never enters the game. So they win, not by proving their point, but by excluding the contradictory evidence. Rabbit called Smuggles. This rabbit wears a hat and a lab coat. It tries to look like a neutral scientific skeptic, but hidden under its hat is an assumption it hopes you cannot see. It wants to appear neutral, yet it firmly believes that only the material exists. And with that assumption smuggled away under its hat, the rabbit hops out looking perfectly fair-minded and says, I withhold belief in the immaterial because there's no evidence. But do not be fooled. This rabbit is not neutral, and it can say there's no evidence because it refuses to include immaterial evidence.